We're going to learn about Flexbox. This is a powerful CSS layout tool. By the end of this lecture, you'll have a basic understanding of how to arrange, align, and space elements efficiently inside a container. This is going to be more of an overview of the Flexbox specification. Then we'll move on to some practical examples where we're going to utilize Flexbox to control our layout. We're going to be talking about Flexbox, or Flexible Box Layout. This is a CSS layout system used to arrange elements in a row or column. It helps us control alignment, spacing, and the sizing of items inside a container. A simple definition is that Flexbox helps you control how elements line up and share space inside a container. Flexbox works with two roles, a flex container and flex items. The flex container is often referred to as the parent. This is the element that turns Flexbox on. The flex items are often referred to as the children, and they're all the direct children inside the container. Keep in mind that Flexbox only affects direct children, not nested elements further down. Let's visualize this. The container is the parent, and the items are the children. Only the direct children respond to Flexbox properties. Nested elements inside those children aren't affected by Flexbox rules unless they're also set as a flex container. Here's a simple HTML and CSS example to get started. I have a container that has 3 articles, and I've assigned a class of item to those so that we can visualize that those are the items, the section is the container. Then I've simply used container with a display of flex. This basically sets up a flex container and will arrange the items in a row by default. Flexbox operates on 2 axes, the main axis and the cross axes. The main axis is the direction that items flow. This is controlled by something called flex direction. The cross axis is perpendicular to the main axis. It's used for vertical alignment. Understanding the axes is key to controlling item placement. Here's a visual reminder. The main axis is the direction of movement. So in this case, if I'm using a display of flex and I have a flex direction of row, the main axis will run from left to right. The cross axis is the other direction. So the cross axis in this example is going to run from top to bottom. I just mentioned that flex direction controls the layout direction. You can, however, change the value of flex direction, which will impact how the main and cross axes interact. So keep in mind that flex direction always works with the main axes. The default value is row, and that means the content runs from left to right. But if I set the value to row reverse, the content will run from right to left. We can also set the value to column, which means the main axis is going to run from top to bottom, or column reverse, in which case the main axis will run from bottom to top. The flex direction property is fairly easy to understand. You can set the flow direction to either row or column, and you can even reverse the order by changing its value. As you can see in the visual examples I have here, it will affect how the flex items are going to sit within the container. If we circle back to the flex axes, keep in mind that the flex axis represents the X and Y axes of an element. With Flexbox, axes aren't rigid. The main axis follows the flow, and the cross axis is perpendicular. Keep this in mind as we dive deeper. The next property is justify content. This controls alignment along the main axes. Here I'm giving you the various options that we have for the value of justify content. If we use flex start, which is the default, that means that the elements start at the beginning of the container depending on the value of flex direction. Flex end will push all those elements to the end of the container. Center centers them, and then we have some other options: space between, which creates equal space between; space around, which creates space around items; and space evenly, where there's equal spacing everywhere. This will justify just along the main axes. Here's a visual representation of what's happening with justify content. Similar to text justification, this will align flex items along the main axes. So you can see here I have the different property values and a visual representation of what's going to happen when any of those are used. Next, we have align items. This controls alignment along the cross axes. By default, this alignment will be vertical, but keep in mind that we can change the direction, which will change where the cross axis sits. But if we assume that the cross axis is running from top to bottom, if I set the align item value to stretch, this is the default behavior and it fills the height of the container. We also have flex start, which places items near the top; flex end, which will place items near the bottom; center, which puts items in the middle; and baseline, which aligns to the baseline of any text. Here's a visual representation of what I just talked about. Align items is similar to justify content, but it works along the cross axes. Next, we have flex wrap. This controls whether items stay on one line or not. No wrap is the default, which means that all items will appear in one line. Wrap will move items to the next line if there's not room for them to sit horizontally next to each other. And wrap reverse will reverse the wrapping. Without wrapping, items will shrink. With wrapping, items move naturally. Here's a visual representation of how flex wrap works. By default, the flex items stay on a single line. This is using the no wrap value. If there's too many items, they will shrink to fit within the container. To prevent overflow, we use flex wrap and we set it to wrap. This is similar to wrapping text on a notepad. And as you can see, the items will wrap onto a subsequent line. Wrap reverse simply reverses the direction of the items. The gap property controls spacing between items. It's a little bit cleaner to use this when we're working with Flexbox as opposed to using margin. Flex items, the children, can also be individually controlled. We'll be looking at the properties of align self, flex grow, flex shrink, flex basis, flex, and order. Align self will override the container's alignment for a single item along the cross axes. This is useful when you want one item to behave differently. And as you can see from the visual examples that I'm showing you here, if we assign the align self to a specific item, it will behave differently from the rest of the items. In this example, we're assuming that all items are using align items of flex start. The flex grow property controls how much flex items expand to fill available space. You can think of this as if you have leftover pizza slices. Flex grow will decide who gets more slices. The flex shrink property controls how much a flex item shrinks when space is tight. An analogy for this is packing a suitcase. Flex shrink decides which items get squeezed to fit within the container or the suitcase. Flex basis is when we set the initial size of a flex item before growing or shrinking. You can think of flex basis as the reserve space for an item before anything else happens, like a starting block in a race. The flex property is a shorthand property. It's used to control how flex items size themselves within a flex container. Instead of writing flex grow, which is how it expands, flex shrink, which is how it shrinks, and flex basis, which is the starting size, we will combine these into one single property. So a simple mental model is we would set the flex property, and the value is going to have the grow value, the shrink value, and the starting size. The flex order property will allow you to control the visual order of items without changing the HTML. Lower values appear first and higher values appear later. Think of order like a priority number in a line or a queue. Flexbox is a powerful layout tool that lets you control how elements are arranged, aligned, and spaced inside a container. With these properties, you can create responsive and dynamic layouts easily. We'll be putting what we've learned into practice in the upcoming lessons so you can see how Flexbox works with actual HTML elements.